Hello, my name is Travis, and today I'll be discussing cliches used in television and movies that bother literally only me. Today's topic is... Now, let me preface this by stating that I am not now, nor have I ever been, a cop. But I have seen all of the Police Academy movies, so I basically went through the academy myself. And I feel confident in expelling this information to you, the internet. Alright, let's pretend you're a rookie cop, and you need to take this guard out quietly. Then, you remember that universal rule of life. Hard blows to the back of the skull always mean they are quickly, but more importantly safely, knocked out. Roll clip.
I just want you to face me so she could get behind you.
Movies are very optimistic about blunt force trauma and long-term brain damage, and I see no reason for you not to be as well. Hell, in Back to the Future 2, I was expecting a subplot where Marty has to deal with a concussion, and trust me, with all the filler in the second one, we had time. Nope, he's up having a conversation after just a quick dabbing of a wet cloth. I'm not sure what the case is as far as time-traveling 80s kids that stole rock and roll from black people. But the head is where you and I keep our brain. And in reality, even relatively light taps to the cranium can cause irreversible damage. And smacking a dude with a regulation pistol is almost always going to get you hit with a police brutality lawsuit and probably break those plastic pieces of shit being passed out to cops nowadays. And yet this trope persists. Whenever a good guy needs a get out of literal jail free card, they give a quick love tap and the target goes down until the plot requires them to wake up. And while we're on the subject of guns, now this one is smaller in comparison, but watch these clips.
Move in! Get out of the way! Get the fuck out of the way! Don't work for me! You're making it worse for yourself! Go, get out of the way!
Did you see anything wrong? You probably noticed that they were running around with a gun in hand. No, you don't get credit for noticing it. You only noticed because I specifically put a title card there to draw your attention to it. I noticed it. I always yell at my screen when I see this. They see the suspect, they draw their gun, and the suspect runs away. They don't use their gun, even though they specifically drew it to use it. Now they have to give chase. And do they holster that gun? Hell no. They just run with the gun, flopping every which way. That is what we call brandishing a weapon. And while you're at it, get your fucking finger off the trigger. Look how many people Keanu Reeves points his gun at. You're gonna get someone shot, and not the person you want. To do this video, I searched around the internet for a name to this trope. And when I couldn't find one, I had to watch a lot of TV and movies to find some examples. And as much as I love watching shows for the sole purpose of tearing them down, if I start an episode of a show or a movie, I have to finish it. And there are so many cop shows, you guys. I'm sorry, just roll a clip or something. At least Cash has the good sense to use trigger discipline as he's running down the block with his hand cannon. Also, as a side note, Brooklyn Nine-Nine has the most realistic chase scene I could find.
Quick update on the tagger situation. He is currently spray painting our van right now.
Police, freeze! NYPD, freeze!
I'm here.
You're busted. Already got him.
We got him.
Let that sink in. The most realistic police procedural is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And NCIS is fucking garbage. Moving on. Now, you're a professional, and you know that proper procedure is to get this stockpile of unknown powder to the lab for testing. But why would you waste precious man-hours waiting to hear back from the eggheads when you can determine right now not just the type of drug, but its purity? Just put it in your mouth. You saw it in Tango and Cash. What more do you want?
Anybody want to get high? Is it good?
To do it all the time when I was undercover. All you gotta do is close your nostril when you go down. Watch this. Oh, nope. I didn't do it that time. I got a full snoutful. Woo! Okay, no, let me just try it again. I'm a little rusty.
Did you ever notice the closer you get to the people who cook this shit, the better it tastes? And from the taste of it, we're about 2 people removed from the chef who's got the recipe for this very fine product.
Look, you're smart. I mean, you're watching this show. And I hope you're not a child because I've said fuck like 5 times in this video alone. So, for the record, I am neither advocating for nor discouraging against the use of drugs. My issue with this cliche is not that there are cops constantly eating and snorting evidence, or that in just a quick lick, the fictional police officer Jeffries here can save hours of time at the lab. My concern lies in that Officer Jeffries has gambled his life by putting a white substance of unknown make and origin in his mouth, and he can now distinguish not just the type of drug, but the quality of the contraband. Doesn't anybody want to take Jeffries aside and ask if he's okay?
That's heroin. How the fuck would you know? Fuck you, I know shit.
This cliche is used a lot as shorthand. You, the audience, know that if a huge drug bust takes place and there are Scarface levels of white powder on the table, you know what it is. You don't need another scene that takes place 3 days later with a dude in a lab coat coming in and saying, yes, it was in fact cocaine. And it also serves to show that your protagonist knows a little something about the drugs, and that's pretty smart writing. But there's an unintended consequence to taking coke, i.e., you've now taken coke. You're high at a job that you are required to carry a gun and investigate crimes. And before you leave posts in the comments about numbers and highness, I've done the math. The average purity of street cocaine is 28%, and on average, it takes less than 40 milligrams of coke to get high. All they ever talk about after tasting it is how pure it is, meaning it's at least 90% pure, right? So just to get the taste in your mouth, you have to be tripping maybe not all the balls, but at least 1 or 2. So, you're now looking at destruction of evidence, tampering with a crime scene, and impaired while on duty. Once. Just once. I want this to happen.
Don't worry, boys. I got this. Yeah, that's anthrax.
Oh, God.
Ooh, or better yet, this.
Pure Colombian drywall.
Now, you've got your man collared and in lockup. Next step, interrogation. But he's a tough son of a bitch, and the good cop, bad cop shit ain't working. But you know the way to loosen lips. You split 'em. You walk into that room like a baller and slug him right in the face. And you are immediately pulled out and arrested yourself for simple assault, and you have a nice civil lawsuit on your hands. Well done.
This is police brutality.
Not yet.
Harry said everything I know, so you can try to scare me.
This knife has met deviants in the streets of Israel and...
What the fuck, man? Why don't you tell my partner who this Dave person is before he draws 2 unicorns fucking on your face?
So I just don't have that kind of time.
No.
Tell me the chemicals, now!
Cause King Kong ain't got nothing on me! Who's this?
Now you're doing training day?
Who's this? You suck as an actor.
Here, sit down. There we go.
Already. What is this?
English 101.
Oh.
Wow, Tango and Cash again? Starting to think I shouldn't take the movies I watch so seriously. Nah. This one is called the Jack Bauer interrogation technique, and it's a great trope to pull out when you want to show that your character is out of options and willing to throw out the rule book, maybe even go against his own personal code. What I haven't seen is one time where the officer is reprimanded in any way, ends justifying the meanness or whatever. Watch this scene where Jack Bauer locks everyone out of the room, shoots a prisoner in the leg, all the while his CO ordering him to stop. Then he gets the information and all is forgiven, and Jack goes about the rest of his 24 hours. I think when time and options are running out, people go too far, and torturing terrorists always seems to be the right solution in these situations. But how do you know you've gone too far if there are no repercussions for your actions? It sucks all of the drama from a situation when you realize nothing will come of this Breaking Bad moment. If breaking rules doesn't mean anything, then you lose all badass points. You have risked nothing and won. Gripping television. I feel this devolving into a rant, so you'd better go now. Join me next time when I go back in time to save my commanding officer from being killed before he's born and end up fathering him myself.